John MacKinnon. I'm a retired professor from DICE, Durrell Institute of Conservation Ecology here in Canterbury. I suppose I'm known as a bird man and a mammal man, but in fact I've always had an interest in butterflies since childhood. I used to collect butterflies. I love to come to the old park and look at some of my favourite butterflies. It's important because it's got a big diversity of habitat. It's got some woodland, it's got new woodland, gorse, it's got a lot of grassland, especially this acid grassland, which is quite a rare habitat type. Those ponds, the different habitats and the edges of those habitat gives a lot of butterflies chance. And then the other thing is it's never been farmed, as far as we know, for tens of years. So it's had no cultivation and no insecticides or poisons or fertilizers put on it, and so it's a very natural site. Insects in Britain have been really crashing, as over most of the whole of Europe and indeed parts of the world. Butterflies have been going downhill every year for the last 40 years. And this is actually a very bad year, even especially maybe with the climate change and there's been some very wet bits and some very dry bits. So it is nice to come to a place where you still see a lot of butterflies. The common ones you'll always see are red admirals, commas, peacocks in the nymphalids. You used to see lots of tortoise shells, small tortoise shells. There's the whites, brimstone, orange tip, large white, small white, green vein white. There's the satyrids, the browns, things like meadow brown, edge brown, marbled white, and of course the small heath itself. And the lovely little ringlet is a very nice animal. There's three skippers, maybe four, maybe the dingy skipper, but certainly got the large skipper and the small skipper. And we've got the much rarer Essex skipper, which is only found in southeast Britain. Lycaenidae are the very small little butterflies, some of them very brightly coloured, and this common blue is fairly common here, and the small copper is quite common, and there have been sightings of long-tailed blue, and there's a thing that's never blue, but it is in the blues, which is the little brown argus. The hair streaks are also lycaenids. They're rather difficult to see because they sort of live up in the trees. They don't come down to the ground, except the green hair streak sometimes comes down to lay, but it's here. It's not very common. We've just had an exciting sighting of a purple hair streak, which is the first time I've seen it here. It's the right place for it. It's an oakland species, and it was sitting in an oak tree, so presumably laying eggs there, a small oak bush. I'm in a sort of a little sea or island of rosebay willow herb, attractive plant, lovely colour. Some butterflies, gatekeeper, quite a lot of big bumblebees, but it has a tendency to sort of take over patches of grassland, which is really what this reserve is for. If there's a lot of butterflies in mass, but in numbers, it shows that it's a very healthy ecosystem. And if there's a lot of varieties of butterflies, that's again another indicator that the habitat is diverse and maybe hasn't been disturbed for a long time. Across the way you've got Blean Wood, which is a famous area, but this has much more variety of habitat. Blean Wood is mostly now plantations. There are some patches of old oak wood, but they're very old oak trees, so shady. This area's got young oak trees sprouting up and a wide variety of vegetation. So there are things here that you don't get in Blean. So this is the acid grassland that this park is famous for. It's a rare habitat in Kent. And so butterflies like the small heath, which are really only found in this grassland, are found here. I mean, the golf course has a bit of natural grassland, but it has a lot of managed grassland and scrub and woodland, so it provides a lot of connectivity. And the wetlands down in the valley are a bridge across the Stour to places like Blean Wood. So butterflies like heath fritillary and the Duke of Burgundy fritillary have been recorded in Canterbury and could come here and probably will come here. With climate change, a lot of things are changing their distribution. All insects are part of the food chain for a lot of insectivorous birds, but also lizards, snakes, bats. So they're very important. Yes, and there's a lot of insectivorous birds here. The different habitats support different groups of butterflies, so as you move from the grasslands to the woodlands, you get shade-loving species like the speckled wood, and tree-loving species like the white admiral and the silverwash fritillary. So this is the speckled wood. It's another of the brown family, but it doesn't like the sunshine very much. It likes dappled woodlands. Well, I'm sitting on a little mound. I have to be careful because ants might come up and bite me on the bum. These ants are part of an interesting eco-story of the grasslands. The ants lick the sap which is exuded by the larvae of the common blue butterfly and other blue butterflies and take these larvae down into their own nests, where those larvae turn predatory and eat the young ant larvae. Eventually they pupate down there and come out next summer and fly around again. And the ant mounds are also used by green woodpeckers, which A, feed on insects, but B, like to lie among the ants and get tickled and cleaned by the ants. Although there are a lot of common butterflies here, meadow browns, whites, red admirals, peacocks, gatekeepers, of course there are also some very special ones. 4 of the park's butterflies are listed as priority species for Kent, including the small heath and the wall butterfly, the dingy skipper, and the white admiral. Small heath should be and used to be quite common in these acid grasslands. I've seen it many times here before. White admiral I've seen once, and it should be here, but I don't come much to the oak forest here in the east sector of the park near Chequers Wood. It's oakland, woodland species, lives in along glades and often quite high up the trees. So here we are among the ragwort, covered in insects, and it's really good for wildlife, although farmers don't like it and they think of it as a weed and they try to get rid of it. Really loved by the small copper and also the hedge brown and some other insects. It's also the food plant for the cinnabar moth, which is a moth, but it's a day-flying moth, bright red and black, and it has yellow and black striped caterpillars. It's a warning coloration to tell birds that the thing tastes really nasty. This is buddleia, the butterfly bush. It was originally introduced from China, but it's now spread a lot in south of England, and it's in the gardens around the park and several trees scattered through the park. It's immensely attractive to butterflies. It has an intoxicating scent, and usually there's commas, red admirals, peacocks, and when they're around, small tortoise shells. It's also covered in painted ladies in those years when painted ladies arrive as migrant swarms, and tens of thousands of them come over from France.